cosmic consciousness, extraterrestrials and UFOs, sacred geometry, ancient civilizations, spiritual connection, the quantum universe. All of these topics and so much more with your host, Sev Tuck, on Alien Spirit with Sev.
Hello, welcome to Alien Spirit. I'm Sev. My guest today is Barbara Eberhardt. I first met Barbara at UFO CON in 2023, where we were both speakers, and her presentation captivated me for two reasons. First, the visual graphics that she uses are wonderful, and they really help tell her story beautifully. And the second thing that really captivated me about Barbara is just herself, the way she is, and the way she presents her remarkable stories. She's very genuine. She's very open. She's very warm. And you can tell that she's not seeking attention. She's not seeking recognition or notoriety at all. She's very authentic. And all she's doing is just sharing with us her remarkable experiences in hopes of helping humanity. Barbara has lived through a lifetime of extraordinary events, beginning with her birth in Berlin during the bombings of World War II. She was carried as a newborn into bomb shelters, later surviving evacuations, migrations, and journeys that span continents. She emigrated to Quebec, Canada, which is where I emigrated with my parents. Barbara has traveled extensively around the world. Her travels include riding the west coast of Africa in a Volkswagen Beetle and canoeing to Timbuktu. Her most astonishing journey has been far beyond this earth. At age 75, after what she describes as a powerful download, her life was changed forever, leading her into a world of missing time, hybrid children, and contact with beings from other realms. Please welcome Barbara Eberhardt. She's joining us from Germany.
Hello.
Hello, Barbara. When I first started school, I took a German class when I was a little girl. Oh, okay. Good? We're good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, very good. Okay. I took a German class. It was around the time that I was also learning English. And I don't remember anything about German, but I do remember that I really enjoyed the way it sounded. It just has a different sound to it than Turkish, and I really appreciated that. Being from Germany, there are a lot of Turkish people in Germany. A lot of Turkish people have emigrated to Germany.
Lots, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's just get into it right away. Let's start with that download that you had that changed your life.
Yeah. I was visiting in Germany in 2018, and we were staying, my son had married a German girl. They had met at Chico University in California. So we were at her parents' house, and I had a little apartment. The neighbor had a little apartment. So in the evening, I retired there and went to bed. And I don't know if it started right away or while I was already asleep half or something. Anyway, all of a sudden, I get one picture after another, really intense in my head, like trying to put a thread through a needle, I was very intense trying that. Then the next picture, I was on a horse galloping over a plain. I was underwater. I was forging metal, but one after another, and I was doing everything physically there, but it was so fast and so, I just couldn't stop it, and I couldn't get out of it, and it was crazy. And finally, I blacked out. And when I came to in the morning, I was totally exhausted. I called my son over, and I broke down and cried. And then I had planned 3 more weeks in Germany, visiting friends and family. And he was flying back to California on 4 days later. And I said, I'm coming home with you. I can't, under these circumstances, I can't travel by myself in Germany. I mean, I was 75 years old, right? So we flew back to California, and I lived in Northern California and had my property, 5 acres. I just remodeled my house for old age, and I was going to die there. It was a beautiful property, um, and so we come to my property, and I get out of the car, and I tell my son, I'm going to sell the property and move to Willits, the next town down. I have no idea where that idea came from. Never had it before in my brain. Nothing. It just came out of me, and I was determined to do that. So the week after that, I went around and I signed up for a senior apartment in Willits, and I started spreading word I'm going to sell, at the art sales and all that. So in 2019, in April, that's when I had gotten an apartment and I moved to Willits. I sold the house, everything was done, and I moved to Willits. And one of the first things I did in Willits, I was on the computer ordering books, and had already a few books that interested me. And all of a sudden, there's this book jumping out on the screen on me, Chosen by Yvonne Smith. You know Yvonne, huh?
I know Yvonne, yeah.
Yeah, and so I said, oh, it looks interesting, and I put it in the basket. And when the books came, that was the first one I read. And it was all the stories about abductions and some of her cases she's describing. And towards the end, there were two guys that said, we had a download, and one of the guys said, after the download, I had to sell my property and move to another town. And that's when my jaw dropped. I, I, I just sat there and I couldn't believe it, what I was reading. And I said, that's exactly what happened to me. He described it perfectly. So I contacted Yvonne. I'd never done that before, contact an author. So that was my first. And she replied, and I had signed up for Contact in the Desert. I have no idea why. It just sounded good. I had sold my house. I had a little money. I was going to do something crazy, and that came up. And so I had signed up for Contact in the Desert, and Yvonne said she's a speaker there. So we met there, and so we talked. And after Contact in the Desert, I went to Pasadena, where she has her office. And a couple of days later, I had my first hypnotic regression, because I wanted to find out what happened that night, what was going on. But she told me the first one is always very fuzzy, because you have to crack the blockage in your brain. So it was fuzzy, but I could detect I was lying on a stretcher bed or something, and a huge dark figure was leaning over me. And then I felt I was put on my feet, and two little hands were grabbing mine on each side, and we started walking. That was my first hypnotic regression, but I knew something had happened that night. And so then a few weeks later, I went down to LA again and had my second regression. And then it was very obvious. I was on the ship, apparently. I was lying flat, and the huge figure that was leaning over me, I got the shock of my life. That was a reptilian.
Oh,
And
okay.
he
Like
leaned over.
this.
Yeah, that was him. Yeah, exactly. That was him. And he leaned over me, but very gentle. And then I was put on my feet, and then two little grays came and took my hand right and left, and we walked along a long corridor. And there was a tall Pleiadian lady beside me with white hair and a white gown. And I used to call her my white lady. Later on, I found out her name was Uru. And so she came with us, and we walked along corridor. We came to a big room, and there was like one wall was like a screen. And there were the pictures of the download. That's where I had gotten the download.
What do you mean? That's where you got the download?
Well, when I got the download, I was standing in front of that screen. They
Oh,
showed the download there on the screen. And there was a tall
oh,
Pleiadian standing beside the screen. I guess he was directing that. But that was how this all happened. And so that was my second regression. I found out what had happened. But then
so
I also found out that I was taken to a ship, you know.
mhm.
So, yeah. And then,
Okay. Mhm.
okay, go on, ask your question.
Okay. I wanted to ask you about this picture. When you said that you received your first download, you mean you received an image of this?
No, no, no. No, that is something different.
Oh,
The download was one picture after another, what I was
yes.
doing, you know. But
Yes.
no, this one now, the next hypnotic regression. There was instances in my life that I had questions about that were strange, like some missing time it appears. But also, my main thing was when I was living in San Francisco. Um, my husband and I, we were going to have one child. So I got pregnant, and then I had a miscarriage. And that was a real miscarriage, you know, a lot of blood, a lot of cramping, a lot of, yeah,
Mhm.
everything, pain. And the fetus came
Mhm.
out. After that, I was pregnant 4 more times. Each time in the third month, I went to bed in the evening feeling fine. I got up in the morning, there was some blood, and the fetus was gone. And the doctors had no explanation, you know. They didn't know what to tell me. They told me, well, you're getting old and, you know, your body's getting rid of it. But it was only little blood. The fetus never came out. And, you know, we'd seen it on the screen, the fetus. So it
Oh
had been
my.
there. So that
Yeah.
happened 4 times.
Oh my gosh.
And then the fifth time, after the 5 so-called miscarriages, then I finally got my son that was living
This
here.
was this was before you realized that you're interacting with hybrid children. So when you
Oh,
had
of
these
course.
four,
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
so you had no idea that this could possibly be ET related. You
No,
just
not at
thought,
all. No.
oh, how
I only,
confusing that must have been and
yeah, it
sad.
was terribly, you know, confusing. But I finally got my son, so
Yeah.
then I was happy. And that was in 1983. He was born. So I was 43 years old at the time.
Mm.
No, 40 years. I was 40 years, and then, yeah, 40
So
years old.
going
So,
back to this picture,
okay.
this you are in the red outfit
Yes, that's
and the
my
Palladian lady.
pajama.
Excuse me?
That is my pajama.
Oh, your pajamas. Okay, you're in your pajamas. And the lady next to you is a Palladian lady.
That's a Palladian lady. That's Uru. And this
Uru.
picture, Uru, yeah. And she, okay, this picture I started under hypnotic regression. I found out that they had taken my 4 babies
Mm-hmm.
and my 4 fetuses. And then I asked, after they took the third one, um, you know, I went through the whole thing under hypnotic regression, lying on the table, have them come in, take the fetus out. And then normally they took the fetus with the placenta, and then somebody came in and rushed it off in
Oh,
being in that little sack of the placenta.
like
They rushed
this?
it off. No, no, that is,
No.
no.
Okay, that's something else. Okay, let's go back to this
Okay,
one. Mhm.
yeah. So I, I one time after they took the third one, I asked my Uru. I asked what happened to my babies, and then after they were done with me, then she said, "Okay, come with me." And so we started walking, and this whole wall had glass bubbles with fetuses in them.
Mm.
Those are all fetuses in the wall.
Mhm.
And she said, your fetuses are put in here first. And then we made a right turn. We went into another room. And there, if you take the next picture, no, not that one, the one with this one, yeah. We came into that room, and she said after they get too big for the bubble, they get put into sacks like that and hung from the ceiling, and the umbilical cord goes through the ceiling, and they are fed from up there. I don't know. I've
Oh,
never seen how they feed them, but that's how they are fed, and everything. So
gosh.
they're hanging from the ceiling, and we walked through a huge. It was a big room, and there were maybe 100 of them hanging there. And we walked down one aisle, and we came towards pretty much towards the end. And she pointed at one, and she said, "This one is yours."
Mm.
And so that was the one that they took, well, twice before, probably.
How how did you feel when she told you that one is yours?
Oh, I looked at, I put my hand again. Even today, I could feel what it felt like to put my hand against it. It was warm, of course, was body temperature. It was warm, and the sack felt like leathery velvet somehow. I can describe it. It wasn't really velvet, but it was soft, and it felt a little leathery. And I put my hand against the little, and I sent all my love into this little baby. I said, "Yeah,
Mm.
I'm your mom." This I sent all the love to him, to
Mhm.
it. And
Mhm.
so yeah, and then okay, when you go to the other next one, then this one, when they're born, they are put into these yeah, little cribs, and that's what I'm working still with those babies now here. That's that's what I'm still doing now.
Okay,
But
so
but
these
that's this
these the different colored babies, I see some blue babies in there.
yeah, there are
So
all
what
kinds
are
of colors.
is this a variety of hybridization programs with a variety of different
Yes,
beings? Oh,
yes.
who were the beings involved?
Well, all kinds of humans, of course, like also black people, Hispanic, Chinese, everything. Then there's also grays. They have the larger grays, like the one from Zeta Reticuli and stuff. So there are some of those. There's even some with the reptilians, because I had some babies that have tails. And yeah, and so there's all kinds of different hybrids there. And
Oh,
and so
okay.
I found out, and later on a later hypnotic regression, because I wanted to know, I found out that my babies had also, I was taken up before, and I was artificially inseminated. So the babies up there are also hybrid.
And what are these small grays doing?
The small grays on our ship, I have to say, because I don't want to generalize it, everything, because there's so
Okay.
many different ways of. On our ship, the little grays are kind of half biological, half artificial intelligence.
Mhm.
Um, they do all the tasks. Everything is telepathic up there. And so if somebody needs something, he just sends out the word, and then the little gray comes and brings it to him. And so it's they're just doing all the work around. If they don't have, like this one there, yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Still, they give me my own chair, and I'm sitting in my chair. And they found out that the babies do a lot better if they have human contact. So I get to take a baby in my arm, and I cuddle it, and I talk with it, and I play with it. And then after a while, a gray comes, takes this baby, and brings me another one.
Are they
And
healthy?
so that's what I'm doing when I'm taking off on the ship.
Mm,
Oh yeah,
they're healthy.
yeah.
And so,
At least the ones that I get. I don't know if there's any way they sort them out beforehand if they're unhealthy or not doing well, that they take them away. I don't know.
mhm. And your role is to just hold them and love them?
Yeah, hold them and love them and play with them, and so they have human contact.
And are you holding babies that don't have any human DNA?
Oh, that could be true. I'm not sure
Okay.
because
But
some of them
mostly
are with grays and some of them are, yeah, but mostly they have a human DNA in them and are
okay.
hybrids with human.
And did you meet the 4 hybrid children that you have?
Yes, I found out about that, and that was really cool. Um, the first, I was taken up one time. Like I said, it's all under hypnotic regressions, and so you have to ask the questions. So I came up with the question: did I see my children the first time? And so I was taken up to a room, and all because they're so close together. There is a only 3 months. I was pregnant 3 months, and then it was taken. Then the next month I was pregnant again with the next 3 months. So they are very close together.
Oh.
You see, and so they were all 4 in a room together. I have 1 boy and 3 girls. Jar is the boy, and Septi, Rafti, and Kamu are the 3 girls. And so they were all sitting there playing. And so I came in, and so I sat down with them and we started playing. And then Jar is very inquisitive. He asked me, on your planet, how do you get from one point to another point? And so I explained to them that we have airplanes that fly. Okay, they could understand that. And then I explained that we have cars and bicycles and motorcycles. That was beyond them. They could not understand what roads were or anything like that because they'd never seen anything like it, you know. So that was really interesting. And I want to also tell you another time that was really cute. I was taken up with my Earth son here, and he was about 4 years old at the time. Yeah, 3.5, 4 years. And the others were, yeah, they came like 5 years old, sort of. And so we came up and we came into the room with the four kids, and and the 4 children up there, they were playing with light spheres, like just like balls out of light, and they were juggling them just with their energy. They weren't touching them; they were just juggling them around in the room. And so when we came in first, they came and inspected my son. I told them, "This is your brother," and so they've never seen curly hair up there. It seems all the hair is straight. So they inspected, he had curls and inspected him. And then they gave him also a sphere. Well, of course, he tried to juggle it, but his energy is different. So he couldn't juggle it. It just came falling down. So he tried and tried and it didn't work. So finally, he just threw it down and said, it doesn't work. And then the sphere fell down and bumped off and started jumping and higher and higher and higher to the wall and on the ceiling. And the others just stood there and looked. And then they all threw their balls on. And so we had 5 spheres swirling around the room. That was really cute.
Does your son remember this trip?
No, no, no. His memory is blocked too.
Does he believe it?
I don't even know if he knows about that because after when I started with all of this happening, after a while, in the beginning, I told him about it. It was really exciting for me too. But then eventually he said, Mom, I don't want to hear the details. I'm not ready for it.
Oh, okay.
And now he has a family. They're getting their second child. And he's
Mm,
totally into the family. So he
mhm.
knows I have the interviews. And he knows that I'm going to things. He knows I wrote the book. But he doesn't want to have the details.
I
So
understand. Not
yeah,
yet.
not yet.
Right.
And
And
first
mhm.
I was a little miffed, offended. And I thought, but afterwards I thought to myself, no, when I was 40, I would not have been ready for that either.
Yeah, neither was I.
No,
That's right.
no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we understand that.
So I can totally understand. So he was here today, and we were talking, and then so I told him that about the book, that I'm gonna go for a book signing session and stuff. That was okay. That's all he wanted to know.
Mhm.
That's fine with him, but no details.
Let's tell everyone about your book that's coming out on the 18th of September. It's called My Life with Aliens, One Body, Two Lives.
Yes.
And it's in German right now. It's not
Mhm.
available in English, but it will be. So you can go on German Amazon and get it if you speak German. And can you show us a picture of the cover?
Yes. Can you see it?
Yeah, there's the cover. And so there's Uru, your Palladian guide.
And one of the gray greens. Some of them are green too on the ship. So there are all kinds of different ones.
So that's a hybrid,
No, that is
pure
a being.
gray.
Yeah, well, what we call gray, but some of the grays, they come from different planets, of course, and so they have a different colors of, skin colors. They're not all gray.
Yeah, that one's very green.
Yes, it's green.
And that's one of the beings that would help you. You call yourself the hybrid nanny, right?
that's what Yvonne Smith calls me, the hybrid nanny.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I think
Because
it's a
under
cute term.
hypnosis she gets all the details of what I'm doing, and taking care of the babies and all that.
Yes. And are you still doing this?
Hypnosis?
No, the
Oh, yeah.
hybrid nanny.
Yeah. I'm still doing that, and but I've also been called to other tasks on the ship at times. And like the ship council sometimes ask what I'm thinking about things. For instance, they asked me. They were discussing to show the big mothership on the planet, and wanted to know what my thoughts are about that.
Oh.
And so I thought about it for a little bit, and I said, we're not ready yet. I said, here on Earth, we shoot first and ask questions later.
Yeah, that's true.
It is,
I'm laughing, but that's very true.
And
So
but they decided to send a more small crafts, and that's what happened. And last year there was a whole swarm of small UFO sightings and things, and so they're sending more and more small ones sighting. They actually don't want contact with the governments as such. They want more contacts with the normal people. They want and that's what they're looking for.
And that's what they're doing. They're interacting with us individually.
Yeah.
To bypass the government.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so they want to, and now with all the iPhones we have and stuff, people, when they see something, they can take a video of it. And so when they see UFOs and things, the message comes out more and more,
Yes. Now, you had mentioned a couple of minutes ago that there were a lot of UFO sightings.
Yeah, in last
Where
year
was
and the year
that?
before. Well, on the East Coast, there was a lot at the time, and in the United States, and here in Germany, it's still very sedated. The whole the whole UFO subject. They have UFO conferences here, but they're small and normally just one day. And so I was a speaker at the conference in Frankfurt last year, and so it's interesting. I'm
So
trying
you're
to
saying,
open up here, people.
oh, I see. In Germany, they're not quite as accepting. Well, even in America, we really aren't that accepting. But now we have it on the local news. We have congressional hearings on TV. Those are all really good things.
Yeah.
It's not really strange to see a UFO anymore. But in Germany, that's not the case. Like, you wouldn't see
No,
it on the news. You don't have.
no, 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 no.
Oh,
It's still very, very, yeah,
hidden.
yeah. And let's see, the mentality of Americans. We are such a diverse group of people, so a lot of their minds are open. When we come to America, we have to. The setting is different there. When you live in the
Mm.
United States, you have a lot of options. You can do this and that. Here in Germany, I mean, I live in a little town. You have to think about that. The Romans, we have Roman walls here when the Romans were in Europe. Um, and they have a sign there. They have found um, things from Neanderthal people here where I live. They found evidence that Neanderthals were here 90,000 years ago. And so this is, but the culture, the German culture goes back like from the Middle Ages. There's castles all around here on the hills and stuff. So like in the last century and well, before the Middle Ages, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
castles, a lot of this, so there's setting here. People have lived in villages for generations, many generations. So it's difficult to come with a new concept and break that.
That's understood. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a long lineage of a particular belief system,
Yes.
which is hard to dispel.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Can I tell you something that is just on my mind now? And
yeah.
because I was you were asking if that's all I'm doing with the hybrids. No. One time I was taken up to the ship. Um, that was fascinating, and that was in September 2023. I was already living in Germany. I was taken up, and I woke up in the morning saying loud, "Nano Okuro, Nano Okuro," over and over. That's how I woke up, from the half sleep dream. I heard myself saying that, and I came to and said, "What the heck is that all about?" I'd never, Nano Okuro, Nano Okuro, I was saying constantly. So I got up and I wrote it down, and later on I searched it, Googled it. Nano is, of course, a nanoscience, the tiny particles. And there's nano scientists. Steve Colburn is one of them, for instance, and he checks implants and stuff like that. But nanoscience, okay, that's one thing. But Okuro, and you know what Okuro is? That's a nanoscientist, a Japanese nanoscientist who works in China right now.
Oh.
And I woke up, an old lady in Germany saying Nano Okuro. No, that was baffling to me. So with the next hypnotic regression, I asked Yvonne, we have to go to that night. I want to find out what happened because I have no idea. And so on that night, I was taken into a room. There were all kinds of different beings in the room. They were all scientists. And so they explained to me, and the whole wall was our planet, all the map of our planet was on the wall. And different countries had dots in them. And they explained to me the dots represent nanoscientists in the different countries. And they showed me Steve Colburn. They just pointed to one dot and it came up, and I could see him working in his lab, and really crazy. And so then they explained to me they want to give humanity the next step in the nanoscience, advance humanity in the nanoscience. And they're trying to figure out which scientists they're going to send it to. And they turned to me and said, like we did with Einstein and the relativity theory, he got that overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they did. And said, That's what we did. That's how they did it with Einstein.
Uh-huh. And maybe Tesla too.
Maybe Tesla too. And
Mm-hmm.
and so they so they were checking out the different locations, and then they decided on Mr. Okuro in the Japanese one. Like I said, he's working in China, right? In, I think, in Shanghai or something. And so I was wondering what I have to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
Why tell me?
Yeah.
And they said, because you're our link to Earth. Me being there, being the link to Earth. And so then the scientists, we all got in a circle, and they had in their head the information they wanted to send to Mr. Okuro. And we were all saying nano for the science and Okuro for the person. So we're all standing in this circle saying nano Okuro, nano Okuro, nano Okuro. And that's how I woke up.
Did you contact him?
Well, I wrote him right then. I wrote him a short note, but he never answered. Of course, he didn't know me and anything. I never sent him up my whole story or anything like that.
Oh, wow. Okay,
But
maybe your paths will cross again.
but isn't that strange?
So is it predominantly the Palladians that want to share this information?
No, the others of the whole scientific group up there. They were ready.
From
They were from all different planets. There were also Arcturians and like I said, some reptilians are there. They're very the one that I know. He's a very gentle soul, and all kinds of different species are there on the ship that work there together. And
So going back to this reptilian that you said was a very gentle soul.
yes, he is.
I had met a reptilian once too, and it was very, very kind. It was very
Yes.
nice. So I'm sure there's
Yeah.
a variety of different kinds of
Oh yes.
reptilians.
Oh yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you tell us about this one?
Oh well, this is another subject. Okay, in 2021 it must have been. I was already living in Villas, so I already sold my property, and in Villas, I was like a senior living area. There were little houses with 4 apartments each house, and there was a whole bunch of them, all ground level, so no stairs and nothing like that. And around this whole area, there was a walkway. Also cars were driving around, but you can walk. And I was doing 3 circles a day, so I get my exercise. And one day I heard a very loud voice telling me, Barbara Eberhardt. And I just jumped, I said, nobody called me by my last name over in there. And I said, yes. And he said, I'm with the Pleiadian, I'm, I'm with the Galactic Federation, and we have to meet, and I tell you when and where. And then it was gone. I said, huh? What was that all about? That was weird. I had it in my head, and I looked around. There was nobody there. So a few days later, I woke up in the morning. Same thing, Barbara Eberhardt. Okay. So he tells me the same thing. I said, yeah, okay, who are you? Who are you? And he said, I'm Mark Moore. And Mark Moore is a guy that I met on a MUFON conference, MUFON meeting in Sacramento. And he's also being taken. And he invited me for dinner at his place one time and said, bring some, if you have any pictures when you were in your 20s or 30s, if you can bring some. And I did. And there was one picture, for a short time, I was wearing contact lenses, no glasses. And he looked at the pictures and he saw that one. He said, it is you. I said, it's me, what? He said, on the ship, and he's a bunch younger than me, 16 or 18 years younger than me. So on the ship, when I was a kid, we were taught, and there was a human male and a female that taught us something. And you were the female. I said, huh? I taught on the ship. Later on, under hypnotic regression, I verified it. I did teach kids. So this was Mark Moore. So this being said he was Mark Moore. I said, no, you're not Mark Moore. I know Mark Moore. Who are you? Oh, he said, you wouldn't understand. I said, well, what is your name? I said, try me. And then he said, his name is 2 clicks and and I said, okay, that's his name. That's his language, you know. And I just took it. So then he tells me the same thing again. I'm with the Galactic Federation and you have to come and they want to meet you and all that. And but then I was waking up more and more, and that he was telling me more things, and I missed it. So then eventually I was taken up under hypnotic regression. I found out I was taken up. No, I should say differently, because they don't take me with my body. On the ship, I am physically taken, but they take me out of body. And they told me they are on the other side of the galaxy, so physically, our physical body wouldn't stand the big transfer there. So they take me out of body. And when I got there the first time, I was looking around and there was all kinds of beings walking around. Sasquatch was there too, Bigfoot, and so all kinds. And I looked kind of behind me, and there was a huge kraken, a huge octopus. It was black with age already, and was sitting in a little basin of water. And I turned around and looked at him, and our eyes met. And so I stepped a couple steps forward, and I told him, and he said very slow, welcome to the Galactic Federation. You know, very, very slow. And so I stepped a couple steps, and I said, oh, thank you. And I said, we have some of your species on our planet. Yes, I know. And then I said, well, but I'm sorry we don't take better care of our oceans and waters. That is a problem. So he knew about it. So then a light being came, and that was apparently the head of the Galactic Federation. And it came, it presented itself in a human form, but the face was only light. It was no facial features, was just light. And it welcomed me and asked me if I was willing to work with them. And I said, yeah, sure. And it said they want to, although they are sending me to different planets where the reproductive cycles of the species doesn't function anymore. They said sometimes the species get so caught up in their technology and getting a phone that they kill basically all emotions and feelings, you know. Yes. So they're just, yeah. And they said they're still there in the bases, but they have to rekindle them. And we're going to send you there to talk to them, to start rekindling them, because then they will start reproducing themselves again. And she put in my head, like, sort of for the other beings, like, why should I go to bed with somebody and instead of playing golf, I'd rather play golf, you know, or do something else, do something. So and they said, you're not going to go alone. We're going to give you a guide. So the guide is that green fellow.
This is your guide.
that is my guide when I go to from the Galactic Federation and the Galactic Council, when they send me.
Yeah, that's an interesting figure. I haven't seen that figure before.
Yeah, and this one has, his arms are really slinky, and so when we are beamed to another planet, we have to stand on a round little platform circle on the ground, and we stand there, and then he slinks his arms twice around me, so we all hug up together, and then we're beamed off. But it was
Oh, you're
interesting.
beamed off together. That's
Yeah,
cool.
to
All
the
right,
other
how
planet.
about this figure?
Okay, that was the first planet that we were beamed to, and we were greeted by this figure.
Wow.
And then and there were a few more of them, and they took us to a room. There were about 8 or 9 of those beings, and then another one came in and was sort of like the head of them, the head being. And I told them why we were there. And she said, yes, we are aware of it. And she thanked me for coming and pushing the issue, basically. And so that was my first contact with another planet and beings on another planet.
Yeah,
They
I
were
haven't
very
seen.
tall.
Yes, they were tall.
Yeah.
And it was purple and red.
Yeah, the beings were purple. And I don't know if the head was like that, or if that was kind of like a head, or if that's
Oh,
the actual head being like that. And they have that yellow diamond shape in front. I
yes. I
don't know
haven't
if that's
seen.
part of the body, or if that's something else. I don't know.
Yeah, this
But
one is a new one for me too. You have another one that I haven't seen either. It's this one.
oh yeah, those. Oh my gosh, that was when we were sent to that planet. They have 3 arms and 3 legs, and their head is just like a rod sort of thing, and the eyes are on the end, and they turn in different directions at different times. They can swivel
Mm.
all around, but they have a
Mhm.
little hairy thing on top. And when they are crouched down like this, the back of their back is up to my um, waistband, so to speak. So they're pretty tall, pretty big beings. And when we got to that planet, and that planet didn't look very welcoming, but everything, there was nothing round to it. Everything was very sharp edges. All the buildings were all sharp edges. They were just
Mm.
slabs standing up in the sky and stuff like that. And when we landed, there was about 8 or 10 of those large beings. They were in a circle, circling around us, and like in 2 circles, basically. And we landed in the center of them, and we stood there. It was kind of very scary in a way. And then we were telepathically told uh, to come with them, basically. So the circle started moving, and it's still in a circle, and we walked inside the circle. They directed us into one kind of building that was, the front was open, and so there was one of those beings was standing up, the tall one that was standing up, and was very tall. And so it welcomed us, and then we walked into the building, and then this being sat on like I considered like a throne, They had a big chair in the back and was sitting on that kind of in the back, and he was the head of everything. So, so
Okay.
we had to talk to them about it, about this, and so yeah, it was, but that was a very not a very pleasant experience, I should say. I told them what I had to tell them, and then we left again.
Now it's interesting when we go and we look at these babies, they all have the round head and the two arms and the two legs. There's no hybrid baby that looks like this
No,
or this or
no,
this.
no.
Okay.
So these are see, these hybrid babies here are from parents. One of the parents is on our planet apparently, or at least in the perimeter.
I
The
see.
other ones are with the galactic federations and galactic council. They are way out in the universe, and so we
Okay.
don't have contact with them here.
I have had I have two conscious memories of hybrid babies. The first one, I was shown a hybrid baby in a tube. It was floating in this tube, and there were three grays behind me, tall, medium, and short. And they were just giving me time to look at this baby, and I didn't feel anything for the baby. My second conscious memory is I was in a room with what I thought were two humans that looked like a doctor and a nurse, and they gave me a very, very sickly baby to heal. They wanted me to heal this baby. And it had a human head, and it had a lot of cloth around it, and it was spitting up blood. It was very sick. So I put my hands on it, and then they took it away and they brought another one, also very, very sick, spitting up blood. And this male human doctor is standing next to me. Well, this one particular baby started to roll off the table. And when I grabbed its cloth, the cloth came off, and its neck was like the size of my pinky. It's had a normal head and this skinny neck and these skinny arms. And I went, and then that's all I remember. And so I'm wondering, have you had any hybrid experiences where there were human beings involved in the hybridization program, other than being a mother or a father?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm wondering.
I don't know. Because I'm sure I'm not the only human being taken up to work with the hybrid babies. You know, they can't take me up that often. Not regularly. And after a certain time, then Uru comes and says it's time to go. So we have to. Then I have to leave. So it's not that long that I'm up there. And so I'm sure they have other human women come up and do the same thing.
Yes, but it doesn't seem like humans are part of the scientific procedure. I'm
No,
wondering if there's a different hybrid. I'm sure there's many hybridization programs. Is there one where humans are in charge? And because the humans are in charge, everything gets messed up and these hybrid kids are sick. This is
not
what I'm
on
wondering.
not on our ship. I have not
No.
seen anything
Okay.
like that. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
But about me being up there, that's a different subject. Do you want to get into this little extra thing?
Yeah.
Okay. When I'm up there, like I said, after a while, Uru comes and tells me I have to return. And then they take me back. I've been in contact with a neurosurgeon in Switzerland. He contacted me about I have an implant here behind my ear. And they found it when they did an MRI because I lost my hearing. I have hearing aids in both ears. They did an MRI and said, "What's that?" And that was there was an implant there. So this neurosurgeon, he got word of me, and he contacted me. So we went down to Zurich and we met, and he did all kinds of tests on me, and it was interesting because in the morning when we drove down, I had a new. I know when I was for sure taken when I have marks on me, like different marks on me and stuff. So that morning I found a mark on me, and he went with his measure things there up and down me, and my legs were beeping radioactive from my feet down up to my knee, and that was it. He said, "Oh, that is strange," and above the knee not. And I said, well, that could be still residue because I was taken last night And on the ship, I don't know what it could be, the radioactivity from the ship somehow. Um, and so he was really intrigued with that. So,
Well, what did he say about your implant?
well, he checked it, and I said, I'm not going to have it removed because
Oh.
I found out that I got it when I was 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, it hasn't interfered with me. And I said, human doctors have no idea what this is. And I don't want them to mess around with my brain.
What does it look like?
It's like a little rectangular thing. You can see the edges of it really, really clear.
Is it connected to
Did I
your...
send you a picture of the MRI?
No.
Hold on 1 second. I'll show you.
Okay.
Let's put it here. Okay. I got it. I'm coming.
Good.
Here. I'll put that here. Can you see the circle?
Yes.
And that's my skull.
So is the implant the part that looks like the letter I?
Well, it's like this little square here inside. See, it's like a rectangular thingy. And you don't have anything rectangular in your
Yes.
brain.
And is that
You
connected
can go
to
a little
your...
closer. See that?
Yes. Can you tell if it's connected to your neural system?
I don't know.
This
I
is
don't know what it's
interesting.
connected to.
I
have no idea.
I spoke at a conference a couple weekends ago in Colorado, and I held an experiencer support group. And there were 6 people who came, and they spoke up about their ET contact. Well, there were more than 6 people, but 6 of the people spoke up about their ET contact for the first time. And that's a wonderful, beautiful
cool
experience.
Yes.
One gentleman said that he had an implant like that. It was rectangular, just like what you showed me. And the doctor removed it, but the doctor had a really hard time because it was connected to his neural system. And he actually had to take wire cutters to cut it out.
Did he, was that in his head?
It was in his, around his ankle and his leg.
Yeah. That's why, people have implants taken out of their body parts when it's easy. But I'm not going to have them take out that because
No.
I have no idea what it is connected to. And our doctors have no idea what they're doing. And so, I end up like I'm going to be a vegetable after that. No.
I understand. I wish doctors felt free enough that we could learn how many doctors have seen implants and how many have just had to I didn't see it. Let's just ignore it. Let's just move on. It might be more than we think.
Well, I tell you one thing. When I found out about my doctor, when I started having my hearing loss, I was sent to Stanford University. My ear doctor said, the condition I have, there's only 3 doctors in the United States that know the symptoms. And one of them is in Stanford, so he sent me down to this professor. And he checked everything out, my hearing and everything. And then he, on the MRI, he said, oh, what? The first picture just showed it. It didn't show the rectangle. It just showed like a growth, because in the MRI, they're like slices that they take picture. So he looked at that and said, that looks like some kind of growth you have there. We have to check that. Come back in 6 weeks. And so 6 weeks later, I went down to Stanford again. That was always like a 5-hour drive, And I went down to Stanford again. And he talked about my ears. My son and my daughter-in-law came with me because we thought we were going to talk brain surgery. And so they came with me. And then we come in and the professor just talks about my ears. And I said, what about this growth? Oh, we're going to monitor it. And then that was it. And before we knew it, we were out again. I said, that was the strangest thing. And I really believe that later on, when he saw the other pictures, he looked at the other pictures of the MRI, he saw that it was an implant and he didn't want anything to do with it. You know,
I know. Well, what is a doctor good for if they're ignoring something that's been stuck in your body and they don't even want to look at it? Like
I
how
know.
does that make us feel?
Yeah. Well, they fear for their reputation. Hmm.
But you can't deny it. It's in 3D.
I know. I know. So my ears and throat doctor in Santa Rosa, that was my regular doctor, he gave me this image then because he had it too. And this, well, we took another one and then that was taken 2021, this one here. And
Oh, that's pretty recent.
oh yeah. And so anyway, that was interesting.
Yes. It looks like a pretty big implant too. I would
Yeah.
like everyone to know about the artist who made your fantastic graphics.
Oh yeah, thank you for
Can you
putting
tell
them
us
up.
about him?
Yeah, Ty Evans. I lived in a little town called Laytonville on Highway 101 north of San Francisco, well, 3.5 hours north of San Francisco, just a little town. And he went to school with my son, and he used to come. He lived very close where we had where I had my property, and so he used to hang out with us quite a bit as a kid. Well, in his teenager. Very artistic. He used to draw all kinds of dragons and beautiful. And he's also very talented in music. And yeah, we've been in contact. And when I started having this, all those experiences, and I needed some pictures because I was going to be a speaker and I needed for the presentation. And so and he came in and I asked him, Ty, do you know any artists that could draw? And he looked at me, he said, I can draw, you know.
Yeah, he does a
and
great
and
job.
so we got together and he's still drawing things for me. Yeah.
There's a picture here. It's on the far left, which you
Yeah.
didn't send me. Is that Uru and the tall grays?
Yeah, that is Uru and the tall grays when I was taken by some other aliens. And
Oh,
I can tell you about that. I had a very strange mark on my arm when I woke up one morning. And let me see. I can get this here. No, I don't know if I have it here. No, I don't have. I have it on my cell phone.
okay.
But it was it was very distinct. That's really. I should send you some of the markings. I don't know if I send you any of the markings.
No.
In the show. This here. Oh yeah, maybe it should be here. Let me see. There's the markings. I'm trying to find it because it's really very body markings. Here we go. Come on, here. Let's see if you can see this one here. Let me see.
Yeah.
Can you see
So,
it? Yeah,
there
there
we
it is.
go.
There you go.
Can you describe what that was? Was it like a scab?
No, it was just like a very distinct bruise.
Wow.
And it was such and didn't have it in the morning. It was very big on my arm, and I have a whole bunch of markings that I got over the time now, and also little pinch marks under my left breast because when I hold the babies in my left arm, and sometimes they come with their little hands under my pajamas, they hold on to my boobs. And
You have little pinch marks from little hybrid baby fingers?
yeah,
Oh my
like
gosh.
Yeah, I'll show
That's
you.
the first. I haven't heard that one before.
Um,
All right, Barbara,
yeah.
please tell us how we can get a hold of you. Do you want to hear stories from other people? Do you want people to email you or no?
Yes, yes, you can. You can have people email me.
Oh,
Hmm.
great.
Hmm.
How does someone get a hold of you?
Well, email my email address is just barbara.eberhardt@gmail.com.
Barbara.eberhardt@gmail.com.
Eberhardt with a DT at the end.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
And can you show the picture of your book one more time,
The picture of my book.
please?
Let me see. Yeah, hold on a second. I have to find my computer closed down.
I can't wait
Here.
till it comes out in English.
Here, see?
Yeah, it's a wonderful cover. Uh-oh,
Yeah, that's what.
what happened?
Are
It
you
went black.
are you gone?
Yeah,
There we
you're
go.
gone. There we go. Okay. And so that comes out on the 18th of September
Yes.
on
You can already,
German
yeah.
Amazon.
But it's all you can always already pre-order it on. It's already listed on Amazon now.
Okay.
On the
Well, good
German
luck with
Amazon.
that. I'm
Thank
excited
you.
for you. I'm sure all of a sudden you're going to be doing all kinds of radio shows and conferences all over again.
Well,
Gonna
I
be-
did. Yes, I've already been. Was on podcast, well, in the US, of course, Canada and UK. Joanne
Mhm.
Summers, I don't know if you know, have heard of her. She does very nice podcasts in the UK, and then in Germany, Denmark, and Austria.
Wonderful.
So I've been, and now also, Austria, Vienna, another
Yeah,
one.
that's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
So
international. Yeah,
so because I speak German and English, so it does,
I know
you know,
you're perfect. You're perfect for
and
it. Yeah.
well, half perfect.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so
Uh,
much for
anyway,
spending your
just
time with us and
yeah, I'll
telling
show
us
you.
about your stories.
See the pinch mark.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
that's on.
That's
I found that on my left boob.
it's a lot of pinching.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
can see the two little things coming in. You know. So when I find marks, I know I've been gone.
Oh, the little babies. They feel
Yeah.
good when they're with you.
Well, you
Yeah.
know, and how babies are, and I have my pajama top on, so they can get with their little arms underneath the pajama.
Oh, that would be a cute graphic. All right, Barbara. Thank you with all my heart. I
So
look forward
thank you,
to connecting
and
with you again.
and maybe we can do something again when Paul is.
Oh, yes. Paul Hynek was supposed to join us today.
Yes, yes.
Because you had met Paul previously at UFO
Hmm.
Con, and I
Yeah.
had met
Hmm.
you at UFO Con,
Hmm.
and I saw Paul on an interview show on a
Hmm.
podcast called Area 52, and he was talking about you.
Yeah.
And so I emailed Paul. I'm like, Paul, I know who you're talking about. You're talking about Barbara Eberhardt, and I met her too. So the three of us were going to reunite on the show today,
That was
but
good.
Paul couldn't make it,
Mhm.
and unfortunately, but maybe the three of us can get together again when your book comes out.
Yeah, but do you have a couple more minutes?
Okay.
Um, I got a ring from the neurologist in Switzerland to check my sleep pattern. Okay, so after many sleep nights, and I found out the following. And I had this checked out under hypnotic regression with Yvonne. There's two. Okay, this sleep pattern, the blue line up there shows the regular sleep, and the red is when you have oxygen missing. Okay, when you don't
Mm-hmm.
sleep, when you don't breathe. This is a regular sleep pattern. That would be
Oh.
perfect, you know. So those are two different patterns that I have at times. They are all from my list. And so under hypnotic regressions, we went to 4 days of 4 nights of this and 4 nights of this to find out what the difference is. And I found out that this one here, I'm being taken to the Galactic Federation because I just sleep in my bed and just my body is there, just breathes. And my soul and my I'm out of body. So there's just the physical form breathing. This one here, I'm being taken up on on the ship physically, and the ship apparently their oxygen is different. They don't have the same air up there. So I think this is probably a reason why Uru comes after a while and says it's time for you to go. Otherwise, I would have
Oh,
oxygen deficiency. See, this
is
is a scientific study I did.
is that in your book?
Yeah, it's going to be in my
That's
book. Yeah,
fascinating. I wonder what other physiological symptoms you have. That would be wonderful to hook up experiencers,
yeah.
and
And
see what
if they
changes
check
their
that
bodies
too,
go through.
yeah, and you can see it on your sleep patterns when you're which way. This is Galactic Federation, and this is on the ship physically. And we went to
Wow.
four different dates, and that's what we found out. See, 4 different dates here.
I've never seen that before, Barbara. That's very interesting. I like it when we mix science in with these
Now,
esoteric concepts.
I like to find as much as scientific evidence of it, and this is showing clearly that there's a pattern.
Yeah, maybe you'll do some more scientific research.
Well, I'm not a scientist, but if something
But
comes up,
yeah,
I'm in for it to try things out and do things separate, things like
yeah.
that. So that was for me that was very interesting.
It's very interesting to me too,
But
and I'd like to see more.
I have another little thing that I want to throw at you. One of those dates here, um, I was taken up um, to the Galactic Council, and I was sent to the planet of the Sasquatch, of the Bigfoot, because
Mm.
I know Camus. He's one of the Bigfoot, and I know him. So we all three were sent there, and we had a great time there because they explained to me that they cannot reproduce on our. They used to reproduce on our planet because of the gravity. I guess it was easier for the kid to come out, and it was pulling him, and and then they said they used to have their children on our planet and until they were about teenagers, and the food was good and everything, and then they would go back to their planet, which is in the fifth dimension. But so but now with all our technology, they don't have a quiet place anymore. Humanity has advanced everywhere, and so with the drones flying and this and that, they can't do that anymore. So they were not reproducing properly. So
Oh,
we had a great time there on their planet, and then we were sent back in the Galactic Council. They sent me back right away under hypnotic regression. I found out when they sent me back here uh, into my physical body, which was here, I had problems getting into my body. I was under hypnosis. I was sitting in my chair and I was yelling for help, help! I can't get in. I can't get in. And so Yvonne took me out of the regression because obviously I'm back in. So obviously after a while I
yeah.
did get in, but that was also very interesting. And they took me up one more time after that just to apologize because the Galactic Council, they said they should have watched the time frame. Somehow they can manipulate the time,
Mm.
and they didn't do that properly or forgot about it. And so I was out of body too long, basically.
Oh,
And if I hadn't gotten back in, I would have just died, I guess, or my body would have just been
oh
here
my
as a
goodness.
shell.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I thought that was pretty interesting. So
Yeah, I wish we
they,
could talk about it some more. Unfortunately, I'm under this time constraint. There's nothing I can do about it. I am so sorry, but
no,
you're
no.
coming back, and I'd like to talk more about the Sasquatch planet that
Yeah,
you
that was
visited.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was marvelous. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome, Sam.
Okay,
You take good care.
thank you, everyone.